Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who give you the widest choice of cereals in the whole wide world. All the great grains in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a great privilege this evening to introduce on my left an admirable actor who is about to make a tour of the United States doing readings from George Bernard Shaw and other authors, Sir Cedric Hardwicke.
It's my very great privilege to introduce a very close friend of mine, somebody for whom I have a tremendous admiration both as a woman and as an actress, Miss Arlene Francis.
Lovely, Cedric, thank you. And now the distinguished publisher of Random House, who really feels that the Braves are the deers that will make Milwaukee famous, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Here honoring us with a few moments of his time after a harrowing weekend at the Yankee Stadium, Mr. John Charles Daly.
It has been a bit harrowing today as a New Yorker, I must say, but I think Arlene probably had it right. Those Braves are going to make that beer famous before they get through. It was a great day at the stadium, and it's a wonderfully American pastime, if ever there was one. I just wish they had all the World Series games in New York. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to What's My Line, and welcome to the panel. Be happy now, because a half an hour from now, disaster will have struck you. We'll have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger after this. Let's meet our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Right there, please. Sign in right there, if you will. How do you do? Rudolph? Rudolph.
Didn't have room.
Did you run out of that? Just put it down here. All right. Rudolph Schlein, right? Mr. Schlein, where are you from?
I'm from Garden Valley.
Garden Valley?
Garden Valley.
And where is
California.
That? In California.
California.
Oh, fine. Mr. Schlein, the panel. Panel, Mr. Schlein.
How do you do?
Will you come over here with me now, please? Now, Mr. Schlein, tell me, do you know how we keep score? You know how we keep score on this?
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Yes,
Then let's
sir.
let everybody at home and our friends in the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Mr. Schlein is self-employed. Let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Schlein, you're enormously distinguished looking. Do your looks have anything to do with your job?
I can't hear that too good.
Do your looks have anything to do with your job?
Well, in a way, yes.
Mr. Schlein, I don't think you should ever lose the opportunity to say no, and you just did, so I'll say it for you. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Schlein, the last distinguished gentleman on this panel who sported a set of whiskers like yours was the head of a nudist camp. May we assume that you have nothing to do with nudism?
Yes.
We may assume that. Have you any connection of any sort with the arts?
Do you have any connection of any sort with the arts?
Oh, yes.
He does in a very amateur way, but not with respect to his line. That makes it 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Schlein, may we also assume that you are not a barber?
What was it again?
May Miss Kilgallen assume that you are not a barber?
No.
No, he is not a barber. Yes, you may so assume. Yes. That makes it 3. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. Well, I tried to get away with it. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss
That's too hard
Kilgallen.
work. I don't believe in doing a lot of extra work, you know. I'm kind of lazy.
That looks as if it takes quite a bit of caring for. But at any rate, do you use your hands in your work?
What is it now?
Do you use your hands in your work?
Yes.
Do you come in contact with human beings?
Do what?
Do you come in contact with human beings as a necessary part of the performance of this work?
Yes.
Well, or even an occasional part.
Well, occasional. You may continue, Miss Kilgallen.
Could both men and women enjoy your services, Mr. Stein?
Could both men and women enjoy your services?
Yes.
Would anyone on this panel be likely to engage your services?
I can't hear too
Would
good.
anybody on this panel be likely to engage your services? And I would answer that for you. That
In the panel here?
In the panel here. I can't
Well,
think of one.
I think they would like it very much.
They would like to, yes. But I'm going to give you a no, Dorothy, because knowing all 4 of you as well as I do not consider it reasonable that either one of you would ever set out to engage the services that are here described. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Sir Cedric.
Does your occupation have anything whatever to do with the entertainment industry?
What was it?
Does your occupation have anything to do with the entertainment industry?
Well, in a way, yes.
Mr. Sloan! We'll never make a nickel if you keep this up. You know that, don't you? Now, I tell you what, Mr. Stein is being overly generous, Sir Cedric. I will have to give that a no, too. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you work out of doors, Mr. Stein?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Do you have anything to do with the soil or the earth in your work?
Yes.
Is there anything even remotely associated with farming?
Well, let's see.
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Sly, you're a jolly-looking fellow. Does the work that you are associated with have an end result that can be taken in liquid
I
form?
can't hear too
Does
good.
Does the work with which you are associated have an end result that can be taken in liquid form?
No.
No. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Bennett, John said nobody on this panel would engage him.
Look at them all looking Bennett now. With
Is there any product involved with your work, Mr. Schlein?
It's a lot of fun, ain't it?
Yes, I would say, Dorothy, that if Mr. Schlein is successful in the endeavors, there would be a product. There would certainly be a result that could be described as a product.
Something more tangible than fun.
Something more tangible than what?
Than just fun.
Something more tangible. It'd be fun, too, if he was successful, but there'd be more tangible than fun, yeah.
Do you have anything to do with inventing or improving any product?
What is it now?
Do you have anything to do with inventing or improving any product?
Well, no.
No. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Sir Cedric.
Does your occupation...
We're having fun. You 2, you 5,
Yeah, a
you
lot of
7,
fun,
you
and
12. Carry on.
Is your occupation in any way connected with gardens or gardening?
Gardens or gardening? Is your occupation in any way connected with gardens or gardening?
No.
No, that's right. 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there anything to do with animal life connected with your work?
No.
9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, for a last chance, Mr. Sly, Shine, are there any girls mixed up with your activity? Girls. Female.
No, that's right. 10 down and nothing to go.
You know, I was in New York the first time I ever been out. From California. I never dreamed I'd ever see New York. But I really have fun and enjoy it. And, you know, I think they're the prettiest women. And of course, the men don't want too much.
The men don't amount to much.
No.
Why?
do,
Look what we
John?
just did to them.
What did he do, John?
Don't you know what he does yet? Oh, I'm surprised at you. Mr. Schlein is 75 years old. What else could he be? He's a gold prospector. Been doing it since he was 5.
I've got gold.
Stop the
Sure,
presses.
I've got
We have gold
Yes,
right
sir.
here.
I wanted to know if you could tell
Samples?
gold from rocks.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, now that there's the finds
that's
of
the-
river,
that's the
and
fine.
this is the course.
That's the course gold. Well,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Stop the
Fine.
daily,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Thank you very much for bringing the samples
Yes, sir.
and for sticking your tongue.
Yes,
Wonderful
sir.
to have you with us.
That's very nice.
You go and say hello to the Yes, and go say hello to the family, too.
I'm going to take a risk.
Mr. Schlein said he wanted to get out of here and go back and meet some of the people because he wanted to take a rich widow back with him. Wow. Well, now, panel, let's see what you can do with the second challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Oh, these old drafty buildings. Norma M. Kurtz. Is that right? Is it, Miss or Miss?
Miss.
Miss Kurtz, and where are you from?
Woodstown, New Jersey.
Woodstown, New Jersey. That's nearby, isn't it? Not too far away.
In South Jersey.
In
Southern
South
part.
Jersey, South New Jersey. Miss Kurtz, the panel. Miss Kurtz, will you join me over here, please? Tell me, Miss Kurtz, do you know how we keep score?
Yes, I do.
All right. In that event, let the good folks here in the audience and the folks who are at home watching on television know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, Miss Kurtz is likewise self-employed, and let's begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Miss Kurtz, would anyone on this panel be likely to engage your services?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Sir Cedric.
Is there a product connected in any way with what you do?
No.
I must say this, that you asked the question, Sir Cedric, and the term is there a product in any way connected? And we would have to admit that while the service is paramount here, there is a product which results actually from the service, and on that basis you'd get a yes.
Yes,
if you're
I see.
agreeable.
Yes.
Is this product that is involved either directly or indirectly more serviceable for one sex than for another?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Miss Kurtz, in your work, do you work with something or someone else in your job?
Yes, I do.
Is it something rather than someone?
Yes.
Is it a large thing that you work with?
What is your definition of large?
Bigger than a bread box.
Bigger than a bread box. You got it.
It is. Does it have moving parts?
Yes.
Are its moving parts live?
Yes.
Yes. It is in the animal kingdom, then?
I would call it that.
Is it a four-legged animal?
Mm-hmm.
Is it fur-bearing?
No.
All righty. If it isn't fur-bearing, I'm not interested in it.
3 down and 7 to go.
John is thinking because this hide is something
Yes.
that has fur, probably.
John, is that look, a mysterious look on your face, you still thinking about the Yankees or you thinking about that last question?
Let me have a small conference.
May not have fur, but I'll bet it's got fuzz.
That's an old sponsor.
Yeah, but if Shane Dienst hadn't made that catch, you know. Shane Dienst, yeah. Right. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Bennett?
Now,
It's not Fairbury.
it's not
Fairbury.
Fairbury.
Not Foybury. It's
Miss
not
Kurtz, would you say it was a farm animal that you work with?
I would think so.
Would you think it might be in the cow family?
Hardly.
Hardly.
That's the best kind of cow.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Could this four-legged, non-fur-bearing animal ever wind up in a sandwich at a delicatessen?
It should.
Well, is it in the pig family?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, and I think the answer is it could wind up in a sandwich. Terrible fate, but then.
You mean terrible thing for the eater or for the fur-bearing animal?
For the non-fur-bearing animal. So, Cedric?
It's your turn, dear.
Is this animal that is involved of great use to human beings?
Oh, yes.
Is it an animal that could become a pet?
It can.
Is it...
I would say it's not common
No.
for it to so do.
Does this animal have a wild species as well as a domestic one?
I wish I was in Yankee Stadium, my friend. Well, I mean, well, this is a difficult question to answer in such a way as not to mislead you. I would say that if you take an extension of the animal and go into its origins and forebears and background, you might find an extension in present-day terms that you might describe as wild.
But what I meant was that there's a wild dog, there's a wild cat, there's a wild boar.
You can
That's
say
what we
that
are.
again.
Right?
Well, there would be. Yeah, I would say we give you a qualified yes on that.
I pass.
Miss Francis?
You said it had no fur. Can I assume from that that you are not dealing with horses, because the horse that I own has fur?
No, I'm not.
You are not dealing with horses. Is this an animal that would ever come into the house? You ought to see some of the houses I've been in.
Let's put it this way. It shouldn't. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Kurtz, by the process of elimination, I have gotten down in my mind to either sheep or goats.
They have fur.
Am I on the right track on one of these two?
Yes.
Does this animal ever butt?
Oh, possibly.
Possibly.
Possibly. Well, then it's sheep you're talking about.
Sheep
is that
we're
right?
talking about. That's right. Now, what does Miss Kurtz have to do with sheep?
She pulled the wool over their eyes.
That's good.
You're not the one who took one to school one day.
No, that's not her.
Do you pluck sheep? Take the...
Well, I tell you what, Bennett, you want to reach for another verb because I think you've got the right idea. Shear sheep, that's right. Now I know why Bennett never became a farmer. There we are. Miss Kurtz, we had him. We did a good job. We kicked all the cards over because with that verb, if we had 1,500 cards, they should go over. Thank you very much. It was loads of fun having you with us. Will you say good night to the panel? Thank you. Good night. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our alternate sponsor. And Bennett, we're going to send you back to Valparaiso University, where he spent this past week, so they can teach him what they do about taking the fur off sheep, which isn't fur. Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which I must ask my friends on the panel to blindfold themselves. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? As you know, panel, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You will ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin it all with Bennett Cerf.
I'm still embarrassed. Have you ever starred in a nightclub?
What?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you ever starred on a ball field?
Have you ever starred on a ball field?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Sir Cedric.
Have you ever starred in television?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, would I be correct in assuming that perhaps you do not star in things as a performer?
Would Miss Francis be correct in assuming that you did not star in things as a performer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Might you be called, then, a producer or director? Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you a producer or director of motion pictures?
Yes.
Sir Cedric?
Do you have a play opening on Broadway shortly that you directed and co-produced?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have a picture that is opening shortly on Broadway?
Of course.
Doesn't
Mr.
everybody?
Have you ever attended a conference swinging a polo mallet? Yes. Darryl F. Zanuck.
Darryl F. Bennett is right. And you just came, actually, I read in the papers that you got home on Friday, but you come home from a picture which gave you a great deal of travail, I think.
Yes.
The Roots of Heaven, isn't it?
Roots of Heaven, yes. We had our darkest moment was when John Huston and I ran out of cigars in Africa. That was our darkest moment.
Well, I think that you had other troubles which were graver in the substantive business of making a picture, and you're modest about them. But I'm sure that out of it comes a very fine picture. You have a habit of doing that, Mr. Zanuck.
Well,
And
thank you.
I think the public should be grateful for it.
Well, this film, The Roots of Heaven, was really difficult. We were in French Equatorial Africa for almost 6 months, including our first survey trip, and no feature film had been produced in this locale before, and I'm sure there'll never be one produced there again. Certainly by Mr. Zanuck, there will not be one produced there again. We had 130 people in our company, and we had 920 sick calls of that group. And it was not altogether fun, but in a week or two, the public will tell us whether we were right or not. I think we have it I think we have we have Equatorial Africa.
Well, I know the problems must be, this 900 plus sick calls, what made all the sickness?
We worked for one stretch of 24 days in a daytime temperature averaging 134, and at midnight, 95.
Wow. No wonder everybody.
John, might I
ask?
Yes,
Bennett.
Darryl, would you care to compare Equatorial Africa with Wahoo? I would say that Wahoo. I would say that I would prefer to live permanently anywhere in the world, and particularly in Wahoo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zanuck. Nice of you to have been our guest in West Hollywood. Well, panel, you've done very well, all considered, tonight, and we'll all be back after this word from our sponsor. Very sorry we've run out of time tonight because we have Gus Morch, who is the trainer for the New York Yankees, with us. We were hoping to give the panel a rough time with it, but perhaps we'll all go up to Toots Shores and we'll get Gus Morch up there and you can guess about him there. I must say, Sir Cedric, it's nice to have you back with us again. Trust you had fun, and you know we pluck sheep on What's My Line.
Yes.
And on that happy note, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Cedric. Happy trip.
Good night, John. Good night, Arlene.
We'll see you later, Cedric. And good night, temporarily, Bennett. Good night, John.
Good night, John.
Good night, Bennett. Miss Arlene has another hurdle. She's going to be up in Boston this week with that play which we know is going to be a smash hit because it's got Arlene in it. Once more with feeling, and we've got our fingers crossed because then she's going to come to New York and knock the town over. And on that happy note, let's all say thanks for being with us on What's My Line.
If you'd like to attend our broadcast and see the panel and our guests in person, write for tickets to What's My Line, CBS Television, 485 Madison Avenue, New York, 22, New York. Transportation for contestants on What's My Line is arranged by United Airlines. This has been a CBS Television Network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Totten.